the momentum that we create for ourselves is so fragile. We can put forth weeks, even years of consistent effort in bettering ourselves, working on self-mastery, and within a few short days, lose all that momentum that we had created. This is a lesson that I had to learn recently whenever I've decided to kind of pivot my day-to-day routine. I've decided I wanted to kind of focus more on some long format when it comes to my YouTube channel. Along with that comes, more in-depth writing, packaging, presentations, everything. And I had to find time in the day, to kind of take that next step. And it was just this internal dialogue. Jake, you've got your routine, you've got your job, you want to spend time with your fur babies. Like, where's the time? Like, something's got to give for a little bit if you want to make this pivot. So I sacrificed my routine, kind of thinking, oh, this is a part of who you are now. You've developed a solid foundation. You've raised your baseline and your internal state of being to where those things can kind of be put on the back burner for a little bit. By those things, I mean the inner work. Meditating daily, journaling, practicing gratitude in the morning, going for a walk or a jog to really kickstart the day. All those things that we use to really down-regulate our nervous system and raise our internal state of being. It's like, no, dog, just put those aside for a little bit. Focus more on your channel. And wow, how quickly I felt the repercussions of that. It's a lesson learned, and it's something that I already knew, but I just forgot to live, at least for the time being. And that is that our fight or flight response, our sympathetic nervous system is always going to be the given, okay? That's your primal state of being. Primal being, it's biologically ingrained into us over thousands of years of evolution that date back to hunter-gatherer times, indigenous cultures. It was pertinent that we had this fight or flight response. It kept us alive. You didn't want to just go stumbling into some random cave or check and see what's ruffling there in the bushes. No, it's good to have apprehensions in those cases. Also, the worry of how are we going to feed ourselves today? Head on a swivel, always worrying about a surrounding tribe potentially attacking. All these things were part of life on a day-to-day basis. So having a sympathetic nervous system, a fight or flight response, is what kept us alive and kept us evolving as humans. So we are fighting thousands of years of inherent biological integration. But times have changed. Our biology hasn't. That's still our default response. But times have changed, and we are able to live a more ideal life. But we have to create that life. We have to fight against our fight or flight response, because that, again, is the given. That's the given. What is earned is occupying or living from a powerful state of being, your parasympathetic nervous system. See, there is two states of being, but we can never operate both states of being at any time, or at any one time, I should say. You're always in one or the other, and naturally, throughout life, we're going to experience this both ends of the spectrum, but it always comes down to what is your internal baseline? Where are you generally operating from? And to be operating from a parasympathetic nervous system, it's never going to be a set it and forget it scenario. You have to consistently keep doing the inner work to ultimately down-regulate that nervous system and ultimately raise your internal state of being to where you're operating from a powerful mindset, a powerful state of being. And whenever we're operating from our parasympathetic nervous system compared to our sympathetic nervous system, it's the difference between coasting downstream, riding the wave of life based on the momentum that you've created for yourself, compared to paddling upstream, swimming against the current. Life's not fair. Things happen to me just the way it is. Ram. We know that charade. And that's the Again, that's what we're used to. That's what everyone else does, so we think that's normal. And again, it inherently is normal because that's our fight or flight response that is ingrained into us. But do we want to live from a state of being that's the given, or do we want to earn something that's powerful? Earn something that provides us peace, fulfillment, happiness, joy, seeing life on the other end of the spectrum, seeing life as nothing but opportunities. We get to do these things, not versus we have to do these things. And that's what happens whenever we change our internal state of being and vibrate at a frequency that matches our nervous system. And the thing is that our external reality is always going to mirror our internal state of being. It has a way of reaffirming the way that we feel. We think that our external reality causes us to feel ways internally, but in fact, it's the exact inverse. Our internal state of being is going to be mirrored in the way that we feel or the way that we see our external world. So over the last few weeks, whenever I've stopped doing the inner work, life has gotten hard. Things have been more stressful. Life has thrown me some curveballs, and my way of responding to them has not been what I've grown accustomed to, or the way that I generally want to respond to them. But that's because, again, the given is operating from our sympathetic nervous system. So I've been just in fight or flight response since I've stopped doing the inner work. We have it within us to control, create, and dictate our reality. Things are going to happen, but they're either going to happen to you, sympathetic, or for you, parasympathetic. That choice is always yours. You have the ability to create the life that you want and see things from a glass half full perspective and look at everything in this world as an opportunity compared to an obstacle. But we have to frame our mindset that way. And that comes from the work that we do on ourselves daily, step by step, day by day. Now again, we're human. No one is perfect. We can have off days. We can have days where we let things slip. One day's a mistake. 2 days, that's a choice. But 3 days, you begin to form a new habit. And you best believe your internal state of being is going to reflect that. We don't want that. I don't want that. You don't want that. We want to live in a mindset, one of peace, one of fulfillment, one of enjoying this journey that we're on. But we got to do the work. Raise that frequency, downregulate your nervous system. Click like, subscribe. Enjoy the ride.